What is up, everybody, and welcome to Behind the Kit Season 2! Now, in Season 1, we had some incredible guests, true professionals out in the industry that are out there living the dream, doing the hard work, and providing guidance and advice to all of us. In Season 2, we dialed that up even further. More professionals, more drummers, more musicians. You guys, Season 2, we already have the first 6 months filmed. I'm just now in the process of editing and getting them uploaded for you. Where Season 1 had only 15 episodes, we are aiming to do 24 episodes in Season 2. And guys, I'm so excited. We have a ton of them, like I said, already recorded and done. We have a whole bunch scheduled in the first couple months of 2026. And I'm so excited for you guys to see what we have in Behind the Kit Season 2. Now, we are kicking off Season 2 with an incredible drummer. Today's guest is one of my all-time favorite drummers, Madden Klass. I first discovered Madden back in 2020 on Instagram. She was putting out some of the tastiest drum covers. Her tones were incredible, her feel was next level, and she was playing with bands like Wheatus, Mike Doty, and her own project, Space Junk Is Forever. But you may know her from playing with Dixie D'Amelio, Boygenius, and currently with Chapel Roan, one of the biggest stars in the world right now. Madden's feel on the drum kit is next level. Her compositions are creative and complement whatever music she's playing. And on top of that, she's an awesome person, and we had a great time in this interview. We talk about all kinds of things, and this is a long one because you definitely watch two people become very close friends by the end of this call. But like I said again, Madden Klass may be my favorite drummer out there right now, so this was a real special treat for me and an awesome way to kick off Season 2. So with that, I will shut up, but again, the full episode is going to be up on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. So make sure, sit back, grab a snack, grab a drink, enjoy the episode, and let's get into it! All right, everybody, welcome to the channel. This is Behind the Kit. I am joined by, and I don't want to embarrass her, but probably my favorite drummer out there right now, Madden Klass. Welcome to Behind the Kit.
Hello, thank you for having me.
The pleasure is mine, the pleasure is ours. We're going to learn so much from you today. Before we hit record, I'm going to be honest with everybody here. I was absolutely just fangirling out because Madden, in my opinion, has the best feel of anybody out there playing drums right now.
Oh my God, that's a crazy statement, but I appreciate it.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I'll commit to you right now. By the end of this interview, everybody here is going to agree with me because we're going to talk about everything you've done to achieve that, all the hard work you've put in, all the incredible stuff you're doing now, the different bands you've played with, different artists you've supported. I mean, your career is mind-blowing. So,
oh my God, I'm nervous.
You're like, shit, we got a tall order to do. But no, I'll start with this. I ask everybody the same question because it's really, to me, it tells a lot about your background. Well, how did you get started? I know you've been asked this question probably a million times, but how did you get started, and what's one piece that you can share with my audience that you've never shared before, something totally unique about your beginning as a drummer?
Oh, interesting. Okay, so I have told this story quite a few times, and it's such a good story, and it's that I was about 6 years old, and my parents put my sister and I in like this extras acting program, just to like see what we liked, cute little kids, try something out. My little roles that I did never made it to the big screen, but that's okay. It was still fun. But my sister was cast in a Nickelodeon TV show called The Naked Brothers Band, just to be an extra, like just to sit there, for the day and, be in the audience, because it was a show about these two brothers who make music together. It was such an adorable show. And that was how I discovered the show. I was 6 at the time, and one of the brothers was also like 6, 7, and he was a drummer. And I was like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing. Like, I always loved music as a kid, but obviously I wasn't making any choice. I was just like doing piano lessons that my parents had put us in. But because of that show, I was like, I want to play the drums and I want to be in a band. So that kind of started my journey, and I learned their whole discography from this kid show because the music was really great, honestly. And then the crazy thing is I got hired to play with these brothers last year for a tour that they were doing. So almost 20 years later, I actually became their real life drummer. And that was like my wildest dream as a child. So that's how I got started. It came very full circle, and they are just the best. And they thought that was such an insane full circle moment. They loved it. But I guess the piece that I've never shared is that my dad helped me get started when I was young. He played trumpet and piano and guitar. He was, he was musical. My whole family was musical, but him and I just started on the pad learning rhythms together before we even took it to the drum set. So I guess that's something I've never shared. He helped me get started, like with the syncopation book and whatnot.
That's awesome. I love hearing that stuff because, I just put out the video with CJ Knowles. And
oh my God, he's so good.
Seriously. And his dad, who, again, rest in peace, he'd passed, but he is the reason he played drums. Got him into it, taught him everything. And it's a similar story for a lot of us, I think. For my mom, she's also passed. So again, Mom, rest in peace. But when I was very young, sitting there tapping on stuff. I wanted to play guitar because I thought guitar players looked cool. And my uncle played guitar, so he's like, here's a guitar, I'll try it. And I have little hands, and I don't have the dexterity you need to do that. It's like, there's just no way. But I was always tapping. I always had the rhythm, kind of in there. And my mom's like, you should just try drums, just see what you think. And, I'm a young boy.
Your mom proposed it. That's wild.
I know, right? My dad to this day probably was like, fuck. But,
yeah, exactly.
But she took me, we got sticks, started learning how to do everything, and I was just hooked. And I'll tell you this because I feel like you'll get this. My first true aha, I want to do this moment was 1999. Slipknot's self-titled album comes out. I get it in my little Walkman. I mean, I'm 8 years old, just with Slipknot in my ears, and
that's
I'm like,
awesome.
You can do that on the drums, and I always joke that I did double bass before single bass, which isn't true, but it kind of just, I've been doing it my whole life. And it's like, when you get that bug though,
yeah.
I'll tell you this though, I don't see myself doing a full circle Slipknot moment, but.
Hey, look, you never know. You've seen what's happened. The chairs have been rotating in that world. You never know. Anything's possible.
I'm going to say this. Obviously, there's no plan for Elo to go anywhere, but
yeah.
If you get called to do the gig, are you saying yes to the Slipknot gig?
Oh my God, of course. I would do whatever it took. I was trying for Primus too. I do love Primus, so I sent them a little video. I did not make it to the next round, but that's okay. A lot of very deserving drummers went through that audition process. It was so cool to watch.
Absolutely. It's funny. I'm going to be the first to admit it. I'm not a good fit for Primus. I know that. I don't have that feel but I shop, you got to do it. So I did my video and I picked one of the.
Oh, you did it too. That's awesome.
Yeah. I did one of the lesser known songs just for fun.
Same.
I saw your video.
Wait, really? Yeah. You saw that little 10-second YouTube clip that I posted of Sausage?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, I've seen everything you've done. The fangirling, though, I did that already, so I got to turn on the. I'm just kidding, but yeah, so I did that, and then I also did the Daughtry audition when that was going around.
Oh.
And that's kind of how this behind the kit thing started. I did the audition for that, and there's a couple things I did really well, a couple things I did really poorly, which I promise we're going to get to a question that ties into that. But
okay.
I learned a lot in that interaction. I got really close. There was some talks happening, and obviously Anthony Gazelle, who is awesome. He was our first guest on here because we became friends through that whole experience. He got the gig. Well, absolutely deserved. He's incredible, and just such a great dude as well. But I learned a lot in that experience, and I realized that not every musician has access to that information on like what it takes to get a gig, what it takes to keep a gig, how to prepare for an audition. And so I'm like, gosh, that would be a really great educational resource. And then Behind the Kit was born, you know, and I'm not gonna lie to you, you were the first person I reached out to, because when I think about professional musicians and professional drummers and people who are, excuse my language, just out there doing the damn thing, like you're the first name that always comes to my mind.
Wow.
But here comes, like, I think probably the first question, which is silly, but you've obviously had some incredible gigs. We're gonna get into them in a little bit, but what has your audition process been like, and what are maybe some of the key things you've learned in the gigs you did get and maybe the gigs you didn't get a chance to be part of?
Well, the funny thing is I've only done one audition through all of these gigs, and that one audition, I did not get the gig. Every other gig that I've been lucky enough to have was just a phone call and like the schedules aligning. It hasn't been like, hey, do you want to come in for an audition? I only did that one time. And that was this year, and I did not get the gig, but I definitely learned a lot through that process. I'm glad I had that experience. So yeah, luckily it hasn't been much of a thing. Sometimes I'll be reached out to for a gig and we'll be talking for a while, and then they'll be like, oh, do you mind sending us a video just to make sure? Or do you want to come in and we jam and we see if it's a good fit? And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, only one proper audition, and I did my best. So yeah, I haven't done a ton of auditions, which is cool. It's mostly about like that initial phone call going well with the artist or with the music director or the manager. And I've realized I have my Instagram to thank for that, because there's a lot of proof that I can play the way they want to play. Usually they reach out because they have already found something that they like, and then they want to do a phone call and make sure I'm not crazy. And that's mostly the piece that they're looking for, is that I seem responsible and excited about the gig.
Yeah, that's why I want to interview. Just make sure you're not crazy.
Yeah, the real interview is tomorrow. This is the test.
Yeah, this is just a test. No, but I know exactly what you mean, actually. So I'll give you two really quick stories, and then we're going to pivot into something you just talked about. But for the Daughtry gig, you know, I wish the same thing. I would have asked more questions. I didn't have a Roland SPD-SX pad, and I didn't realize that the songs they had sent you needed them for the songs. So I just kind of either did it acoustically or just kind of thought they were backing tracks, so I didn't play anything.
Yeah.
They didn't say that, but you know, again, we want to learn whatever we can. The second thing is, and you mentioned this, that I think is so important, is like being the total package, you know, and obviously you can play, most people getting gigs can play. That's not always the issue. A lot of times the issue is all the other things, the measurables of energy. Are you a good hang? Are you professional and responsible? And coming from my background, so again, I mentioned this before we started, but I've spent the last 12, 13 years in the corporate world as a leader, where, you know, your job is to just follow up and set expectations and push and push. That doesn't work the same in the music industry. And so, you know, I get the opportunity to do the audition. I'm like, tomorrow, I'm filming these videos and you're getting them tomorrow. Like, I'm not waiting. You're going to get them.
Right.
And what I wish I would have done is stopped, spent a little bit more time with the songs, polished them off a little bit more. Two of them I thought were really good. One of them was really bad watching it back. I'm like, oof, I did not capture that at all. And then the other thing
But you probably captured the excitement and the energy and the dedication.
Exactly.
You're like, I want this to be on time.
Exactly. And then unfortunately, you know, in the email communication, I'm like, hey, what's going on? Hey, what's the next steps? Hey, you know, because coming from that background, I realized, no. You put it out there, you move on to the next thing. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And the last thing I'll share with you, though, is I did another audition just recently. It was honestly the exact same feedback. Hey, you killed it on the drums. You played the songs perfectly. You just don't quite fit the aesthetic we're looking for. So, you know, and I'm like, of course, no hard feelings. I totally get it. You know, I'm a big, old, hairy dude. Like, I don't know if you want me behind the kit, but, you know, I get it. So I'll ask you this. So obviously you mentioned it before. You have your Instagram, you have your YouTube, you have your discography, all this incredible, like, just portfolio of work that you've been able to put out there, what was your kind of holy shit moment of like a phone call you've gotten or a meeting you've had that made you go, oh my God, this is really, I'm going to do this. I'm going to live my dream right now?
Wow. I mean, honestly, a very pivotal holy shit moment was when I was in college and Vic Firth reposted me. That was like, I had like 2,000 followers at the time. They reposted me and I was like, oh my God, this is my dream. I can't believe this. And I owe so much to them because that really did snowball my social media. That really sticks out to me. That was really special. I remember I was like in ear training class and I just looked down at my phone and I was so excited. And I mean, it's been everything since then. Like, I'm excited for every single gig I get. Obviously, in the beginning, those moments felt like really, really big. Like my first phone call with Wheatus, and when they told me I was going to be playing for Mike Doty as well, I literally like ran around in a circle in the Berklee lounge. Like, I was still in college. I was so excited to be going on tour. That was definitely, I was like, holy shit, this is happening. And then it just snowballed and became my career. And of course, like hearing from Ludwig and Meinl and Remo, like those were all super exciting moments where I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be taken care of and I'm respected by these companies that I've played my whole life. That was pretty amazing. Genuinely, like every email, every inquiry, no matter how big and small, is so exciting to me, and I just love working and playing for different artists, so it's always amazing.
That's awesome. I know exactly that feeling too, like when you start to get the recognition and the reposting, and I've been fortunate enough to have a couple of companies now that I'm endorsed with that believe in me and support me, and that's why I was at the Music City Drum Show. Humes and Berg, Mike Berg reached out to me and said, "Are you coming to this?" And I'm like, I guess I am now. So
I have all their cases right behind me.
So so it was just great being out there and spending time with everybody, because our community is great. I mean, the drumming community is unlike any other community in the musician network. I agree. We're all here to love and support each other and lift each other up. And to your point, though, like I know exactly what that feels like when you check your phone and Brian Fraser Moore is posting your cover and you're like, what the hell? Or you're like having dinner with, Jake Summers from Luke Combs and you're like, who am I and what am I doing? But then you start to, again, I don't know if you still get imposter syndrome. I definitely still get it all the time. Oh my God,
yes.
How do you combat that when you're playing with these, and again, we'll get into some of the more details. I'm doing a lot of foreshadowing right now, but how do you combat the imposter syndrome as you're going into these bigger gigs?
I mean, I just always have to remember it takes, and this is with everything in life, it takes a day or two or maybe a week to settle in. And I just have to trust that I'm going to feel better about whatever position I'm in a few days. Like my first rehearsal with the Chapel crew, her band is amazing. And I was playing and I was like, oh my God, I feel so tense. I need to relax. Like I was just playing totally fine in my in my own practice sessions. I'm laughing because I've been calling my own practice sessions rehearsals by accident to the point where that's just the word that comes out. It's my own rehearsals. And then the next day I was fine. So I think it's just trusting that you're going to feel settled in pretty soon. Maybe at sound check, I'm going to feel like, oh my God, I'm so tight. How am I going to do this? Then the show happens and you're having the greatest time. So I think it's just trusting that you are going to settle in. It might take a day or two. It's not a feeling that is going to last. And obviously just coming as prepared as humanly possible. And then I love to take a recording or a video after the gig and analyze every little teeny tiny thing to make it better for the next one.
So you just hit on, in my opinion, the golden ticket, or if you will, or the biggest piece of advice any drummer should take away from these series. Preparation is the key. If you go in, and I call them rehearsals too, by the way, when I practice at home, but if you go in, you do your practice, right? You learn the songs. I chart my songs, I'll write them out with my own little, I can see in the background you probably do the notes, but...
Yeah, this is my roommate's section. The panda holding guns is not mine. I'm in my little corner, but yes, I use MuseScore and I chart everything out.
I was gonna say we could make the thumbnail of this the panda holding guns, but I guess
you could as well, but it's not mine. I've got like all my rings hung up over here. This is my corner of goodies.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like I was saying, preparation is the key. Like that's the key to comfort. That's the key to being able to go in there and just have fun. And yeah, to your point, the first show is always going to be kind of weird. You're kind of ironing out the kinks and making sure everything feels right. You can hear everything. I mean, that's probably the biggest thing for me whenever I'm playing with somebody the first time. Like I just want to make sure I can hear everyone. You know, so that everything's good. As long as I can hear and I've done the work, I'm going to be okay.
Totally.
And you know, my body will do the rest. But I think that's so crucial, but I do want to go back for a second. Go all the way back, in between, not necessarily being 6 years old, learning the drums for the first time, or even all the way to like recently with Chapel, but just going to school at Berklee. You know, I think for those listeners who aren't aware, Berklee is probably the most prestigious musical school at least in our country, when it comes to preparing musicians to, one, elevate their game to the next level, but also know how to work in a professional environment. You know, I think about Dream Theater, like all of them are Berklee graduates, for example. Yeah. And you know, that's where I was gonna go when I was younger, and then, you know, life had a different path for me, which we talked about. But what was your experience like going to Berklee, and just what was that experience like for you, being able to focus full time on just growing yourself as a musician?
I was able to drive me and my drums to school. In my second year, I brought my drums. So it wasn't too big of a change. And also I went to the Berklee summer camp going into my senior year of high school. So I got like a taste of what it would be like. I met a bunch of friends. So I felt very comfortable going into school, which I was pretty grateful for. And it was, from like day -5 of just being there before classes even started, you're just surrounded by the most unbelievable musicians, like some who play for SZA now, and like Domi was there. It was like a funny little jam hang. Isaiah Weatherspoon, do you know him? He was there. I was like, holy crap, he was playing with music stands as cymbals, because he didn't have cymbals at the time. We were just in a practice room, and I was like, you're the best drummer I've ever heard, and you're not even using cymbals? So then I like went and got my cymbals for him. Meinl, little foreshadowing of the future, us both being Meinl artists. But it was just a lot of growth being surrounded by musicians who were that good, and drummers who were practicing so hard every day, who had all, you know, different styles. Like I had a lot of friends who were from Brazil and from like the gospel world, and it just expanded my palette so much just to be able to listen, even if I didn't really get it at the time and wasn't able to implement it. Like I was able to listen and analyze their work ethic. And for me, I just spent a lot of time like writing parts. That was like, I've done that for a long time, but I joined a bunch of bands at Berklee. That was like my main focus, is like the things outside of school. That's what I was spending most of my time doing, was gigging and writing and joining these original projects, working on recording and just honing in my sound, and also just like shedding as much as I could and transcribing all the time. That's what I was up to for the most part.
That's so great. You know, I always joke that I did drum lessons for like, I don't know, a year, maybe at the most. And it was one of those things where, you know, I shouldn't say this because you never know anybody's background, but I'm fortunate enough that when I hear a drum part, I can pretty much play it.
Cool.
Now, granted, I've been playing for almost 30 years now, but
Right.
it's one of those things where to me, and I've talked about this before on the podcast, but drumming is just like a language, right? We all speak the same language. We
Totally.
might have different accents, or dialects or whatever, but like, so I love the fact that you're surrounded by, Brazilian groove or gospel chops or, maybe even like country western, type, like with brushes and all of that. So what I love about that is like by exposing yourself, because when I was younger, I talked to you about this. I was like a adamant death metal is the way to go because it's fast and it's fun and it's intense, and I like shut my mind out to anything else. And as I've gotten older, I'm like, no, there's so much good music. And so when I brought the Arizona drum stuff out, before even doing any of this, I was like, I'm gonna do covers of everything. I don't care if it's, so to give you an example, I might have Missy Elliott, Between the Buried and Me, Slipknot, and like Boygenius. I have to bring them up all in the same month because I'm like, who cares? Like, it's just about playing drums and having a conversation.
I'm the same way. You just want to play to music that you like, and you typically don't like one genre, so.
Exactly, but that does bring me to Boygenius. I gotta talk to you about it. So, one, I imagine that's one of those gigs where you got the phone call, but what was that like, getting the call and getting to prepare and then play with them? I mean, I didn't get to see you guys live when you were touring. I wish I would have. I found out about Boygenius like towards the end of the tour because I knew Phoebe, but I knew them individually, Lucy and
Julian.
Oh gosh, Julian. Thank you. I was going to say Julie. I'm like, that's not right.
Close,
so I knew
close.
them. Yeah, I knew them separately. But then I found out they got together because my daughter was like not strong enough. She heard that song and she's like, Dad, you have to do this song. And
that's
so I did the song, and then I like looked up Boygenius. I'm like, holy shit, Madden's playing for them? I'm like, my favorite drummer is playing drums in one of my daughter's favorite bands right now.
Oh my God.
So it was just like kind of the full circle moment, smaller, but the same. And so I just have to ask you, what was that experience like for you? One, getting the gig, but then two, just looked like the most fun tour ever.
Oh, it was the best. It was the best. It was so much fun. Obviously, the call was super surreal. I only had one phone call with them before starting the gig, and they were literally just like, hey, like, do you like to tour? Do you enjoy it? And I was like, yeah. They were like, sick. We're going to have so much fun. That was it. I was recommended to them, and they trusted that it was a good recommendation, and all they cared about was that I enjoyed being on tour, and we had an amazing time. It was a very easy, simple process.
I remember seeing the videos you were posting as you were playing live, and this was like right after the Charlie D'Amelio stuff too, when you were doing like iHeartRadio.
Oh yeah, Dixie.
Yeah, like just unreal. And I remember seeing you playing with Boygenius, and I was like, God, she's made for this. Like, you just sounded so good. And then Dave Grohl comes up and plays Satanist, I think, with you guys, right?
On this kit right here that's next to me, he played it. Yep. He played Satanist.
I'm surprised he didn't break it into pieces.
He sounded so good. It was crazy.
So what's that like? Because again, I'm sure Dave Grohl, in my opinion, is like the new John Bonham, where people are like, hey, who's your favorite drummer? And it's like, it's like this generation's John Bonham. But what do you think, like, what was that like for you? Like, and how did that happen? Did he just come to the show? He's like, hey, can I play a song? Or like, how did that happen?
It had been talked about for a while. They were like, oh, maybe he'll do SNL. Oh, he's going to do Hollywood Bowl. He's going to come up and do Satanist. And then I was like, how is that? Like, that's so cool, but how is it going to work? Because we're on ears. It's a quick change. It's literally one song into the next. I was like, how is it going to work? I can't wait to see how this unfolds. And then Lucy texted later. She was like, actually, never mind. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then we get to the rehearsals, and I asked the production manager, I was like, I'm hearing a lot of back and forth, like, what's happening? He was like, no, he's doing it. And I was like, okay. And they brought him up, and I'm on a 5-foot riser. They brought him up his own monitors and subs, stereo. So I just had these two new, like, giant, speakers on stage next to me. And it was just going to be that I play the first song, I get up, and they're going to be off click for the next one, and he's going to play. and it worked flawlessly. It was so cool, and he was such a nice guy. He was awesome. He sounded so good.
I mean, that guy can make any drum set sound good. But I remember
Totally.
watching that video and being like, dude, how fucking cool is that? Like, what a crazy moment to have.
I know. It was awesome, and yeah, we like chatted backstage. He was just really, really sweet.
And then I remember watching you guys on SNL. This is gonna make me sound like such an old dad man, but I remember watching you playing and like the single tear because I'm like so
my
proud,
God.
you know? Because I was like, yes, like she's doing it.
Oh my God, that's so sweet.
Well, we'll get into that later. I cheesed you up at the beginning. I will probably do it again at the end. But speaking of Dave Grohl, probably a little bit of John Bonham, who are your main influences? Like who kind of, and I know it changes. Every drummer's like, yeah, I have them, but it changes as you get older and as you learn more. But who are like the top maybe 3 to 5 that just come to mind of like, these are the guys or girls that make me want to be as the best I can?
Yeah. Well, I joined School of Rock when I was 9, I think. And I was given a CD of the first show we were going to do, which was Van Halen. And the first thing I heard when I put that CD in was the Jamie's Cryin' Phil. So Alex Van Halen is definitely a big influence. Even though I didn't spend a lot of time studying him, it's just, yeah, that's Pocket. He's incredible, and the sound was amazing. So that was like an early influence. And then probably the first drummer I really studied was Neil Peart. Because you have to. You cannot just put that song on and be like, all right, I got this. Like, that takes some serious, deep listening to. But I really would just listen in the car and figure it out. Like, I remember La Via Strangiato, I just had to sit there and listen until it came out. I wish I could, like, go back and watch myself figure out those parts, because I certainly wasn't writing them. And I did have a teacher at School of Rock who I loved, who would help me if there was anything I couldn't get. We would just like drill it. Definitely Dave Weckl, my main teacher, that was like the biggest drummer that he pushed on me, which I'm so happy about. I'm so glad that I got like that fusion background. And then a little later, I discovered drummers like Tyrone Lockett, is that his name? I don't know why I'm blanking right now. Yeah, Corey Henry's drummer. I had a big phase with him. Ash Sowen was a huge influence later in life. Stuart Copeland. Big one was Elon Rubin. That was pretty pivotal for me. And the first time I discovered him was actually watching him live. Even though probably my favorite record of my teenage years was Self-Titled by Paramore, I didn't realize that was him drumming. Zach Farrow, of course. I love him more and more as I get older. I appreciate him more and more. But Elon Rubin was a big pivotal one for me. I heard him playing March the Pigs live, and I was like, holy shit, who is this guy? And he looked badass too. It was so cool.
Yeah, I think Elon Rubin is underrated influence. I just don't hear his name enough, and I couldn't agree more. And you know, I'm a Josh Freese fan too, so like obviously he did the Nine Inch Nails thing, but Elon like just fits that gig. I mean, it's like match made in heaven, and he just so good. Every video you watch, right? Like every video you watch, you're like, oh my, it's not fair. Like, how do you make? His Guitar Center drum off video is like my favorite drum video of all time. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it's insane, and he's so good, and like, that's one of the things that, like, to your point, as you get older, you find these other drummers. Like Larnell Lewis was somebody I found out about later in life.
Of course.
You know, and I see him play, and I'm like, God, that's everything I want to be. You know, like I'm over here doing double bass and crazy metal stuff, but I'm like, I want to play more like that.
I think he like shocked the whole drum world. He's a big one too, that I think everybody was just like, it was just undeniable that everyone was like, holy crap, what is this sound? Obviously Snarky Puppy, but he brought so much to that, so much color. And so many drummers have been influenced ever since.
Did you see his Zildjian live play?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I put that on for my family because I'm like, guys, you have to see this.
My favorite from that series is Devin Taylor.
Oh,
I love that video.
I love that whole series.
I wish they were still doing it. I feel like they stopped doing that series.
Yeah, they did. They did like 2 seasons of it, and then it was over.
It was great. It was great.
And it's like, I remember watching that and being like, but I'm like, God, I just want to do that. I want to play with Ghost Note. I want to play one of their crazy songs. I want to show my interpretation. Like, I just remember being like, I want to do that so bad.
Yeah.
It was just so much fun.
I also had like a big math rock phase, like when I discovered Chan. That sound was hugely influential to so many people, including me.
And I know that you like Gojira.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love him. I love Mario. He's insane.
But to your point, like, that goes back to the comment you made earlier as far as like getting as many perspectives, flavors, dialects, whatever you want to call it as possible, because it influences. You might do a crazy metal fill in a, you know, I'm trying to think of I guess a pop gig or a boygenius is kind of like alt rock. You might do that in there, and it's going to sound perfect. But I got that from Mario, or I got that from Lionel, or whoever, you know. And it's like, I'll share a really quick story with you, and then I'll get back on track. So I want to talk about networking a little bit, and then we'll talk a little bit about Chapel and kind of keep going. I was, a lot of what I'll do in here, because I think it's important on the YouTube stuff. I want to, when you're doing YouTube, you're the star of the content, right? Like, people are watching to watch you play drums. When you're playing live, it's a different story. You want to support the artist, and so Lady Gaga was a good one. That Mayhem album came out, and I was kind of not iffy on doing covers, but I was just kind of like, I don't know if there's anything there for me, and it took me a while to kind of get into it. And I did 3 covers off that album. I did Disease, Abracadabra, and then Perfect Celebrity. And sometimes you do it just to kind of do it because it's a popular song and you want to, put your version of it out there, whatever. But Perfect Celebrity was the one where I heard it. I'm sure you've had this moment, but you're like, I know exactly what I would do on this song if I had the chance.
Yes.
And so I did. And I just did my version. It's like a hard rock metal version of that song. And put it out into the world, not like a remix, but just, my video or whatever. And then she took it and shared it with her fans. And they dug the version.
Yeah. That's the dream. Yeah. That's never happened to me. That's so cool.
So when you talked about Vic Firth, that was the first thing that came out. I'm like, I have to tell her about this. But I remember I went to bed that night, right? And I woke up and I had like a million notifications. And they're like, she reposted, everybody's all excited.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
And I'm like, holy shit, people like this version of the song. So then, of course, me being, excuse my language, but the jackass I am, I'm like, hey, Lady Gaga, let's do a new version of the song. Let's put it out together. Nothing came of it. But, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So I go for it every time.
I love it. That's awesome.
But I think that's kind of a segue into networking, right? Like with boygenius, you got the gig because somebody either knew you or had seen you or played with you and said, hey, this person's great. You should check her out. You mentioned most of the gigs you get are either from Instagram or, again, through connections, whatever the case is. I think networking is something that when we're younger and we're trying to come up and people say, you got to network, you got to get out there, it's really confusing for people. Like, well, what does that mean?
Totally.
Do I just go say hi?
Even still, yeah.
It's kind of weird, right? And like, as I've gotten older, it's gotten easier just because you know more people and you can get introduced or whatever it is.
Totally.
But like, what do you think are some key things or key advice, I can't even think of the word, key advice things, whatever, that you would give to folks trying to figure out how to do that and how to be good at not only creating a network, but also creating a reputation that warrants getting recommended for those types of things?
I mean, social media is very helpful and very accessible to everyone, especially now. Like, anybody can go viral. Like, there are drummers who are going way more viral. Like, I'm just kind of keeping up now and posting what I like to post and just like, putting it out there so people know I'm either home or they like the sound and they're like, oh yeah, I could see that fitting on my gig. Like, I think the best thing you could do is just be as versatile as possible online. Unfortunately, that's like the easiest, best way to get yourself out there that is completely within your control, which is why I love to do that. And I find it fun. And it's not something you should be too stressed about, even though I'm terrible. And I'll do the same song like 3 days in a row until I'm happy with it. And I'll go back, I'll edit it, and I'll be like, nope, gotta do it again tomorrow. But that's not stress. That's just me being like a perfectionist and being excited to post something that is quality. And again, it's completely within my control, so I can be that nitpicky. But yeah, definitely just posting as much as possible, posting your sound and also how you can apply that in a practical setting. Like, you don't have to change your sound, but just like if you do want to get hired, make it practical. And the cool thing about pop is you can do anything. Like, there's just not much of a rule with pop. You might get on the gig and they'll be like, no, it's going to be pretty straight ahead. Like, just play the part, add a fill here or there. But these pop gigs, like, you hear the musicians doing crazy things. So as long as you can be creative and be tight and put that out there in whatever way feels the most you, I think that's the best way to get started. And obviously just following other people, reaching out, going out to things in your city. But like, that really is all it takes. You don't have to like be in a band anymore or like have the credits necessarily. You need to just prove yourself in whatever way is possible for you.
I couldn't agree with that more. And we talked about this a little bit before the interview, where it's, you know, it's a grind. It's a lot of hard work, and it doesn't matter if it's social media, if it's YouTube, if it's playing gigs, if it's touring. It just requires a lot of work, and you just need to be really intentional. Mm-hmm. And I think, you know, the joke is like, when you do get the gig or you do get the opportunity, don't be a dick, you know, be supportive. My channel mantra, if you will, is professionalism, maturity, and grace. If you have those three things, you're probably going to be okay. Obviously, consistency, skill, all that, of course. But and really what I mean by that is a lot of times where I'll see people fail or fall off is the ego comes into play, or you know, they get asked to do something they don't want to do, and they're like, I don't want to do that. It's like, this isn't about you. Like, you're hired to do what the artist needs you to do. Yeah. Maybe you'll get some shitty feedback, and it's like, okay, you got to listen to it, and you got to learn from it, and you got to move forward. You can't take it personally. And to your point, like you mentioned, I might do the same video 3 days in a row before I post it. A lot of people don't know that that's the amount of work it takes to get something that you're comfortable with putting out there. Yeah. You know, I joke about it all the time. My videos are never perfect. I know that. I know I could always probably play them better. And part of that's just because I'm in grow mode, like just get shit out so people watch it and they like it. But you know, what people don't know is they see, you know, 3 or 4 4-minute covers. But to get those 3 or 4 4-minute covers, I'm doing this for 6, 7, 8 hours, and then I'm editing all of them. Yeah. And then, you know, it's a full-time job to do that. Yeah. And the covers are free, right? You don't get paid for covers. So like that stuff's for free. But even, you know, I don't know if I told you this or not, but I've just started doing like this factory tour series where I went to DW, I went to Sabian.
Oh, cool.
And I'm like, that's another thing where I'm like, it's so much fun. I love it, you know, but it's hours of travel, and then you're paying your own way to get there, and then you're filming everything, you're editing everything. It's
so rewarding, though. I think that's so sick. That's not like a world I've dove into. I am just posting my covers, and I'm like, oh, I should really be doing more.
What were you talking about? Like, you're out there living the dream.
I totally am. I love it. But like, I will have a month and a half off, or I didn't work for 3 months the start of this year, and I did some recording, but it is good to be carving your own path as well and taking initiative like on YouTube. I think that's awesome.
And for me, and this is so anybody who's listening to this, I promise if I've told you we're friends, we're friends. I'm just gonna put that out there right now. But there is that mutual benefit for both myself and whoever the company is or whoever the event is, of I'm going out and filming, right? I'm creating content for myself the whole goal of that is to create access for drummers, right? People who can't fly up to Canada and look at Sabian's factory. Well, I'll do it. I'll create a video. I'll show it to you so that way you can have it.
Yeah.
And get more eyes on those products. But then also I'm making contacts with Randy and with Andy Zildjian. And all.
Yeah.
So there's a benefit everywhere, right? You just have to be willing to put yourself out there, be yourself, and just be willing to be courageous enough to connect. And like, I think that that's so crucial though. You know, it's like to be in, not just to network, not just to put yourself out there and send messages or try to do this. It's like, no. I want to build a true connection with anybody I'm talking to.
And drummers are the best people to do it with.
Exactly, because we speak the same language.
Yeah. And it is helpful to know a lot of drummers. Like, sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I only hang out with drummers all the time. But it's like those are, one, my friends, and we learn so much from each other. But also it's really helpful to be like, I can't do this gig. I know the perfect person. Or could you sub in here? Or could you help me out with this one thing? Can I send you this and get your opinion? Like, it's really helpful. And we can all, lift each other up.
Absolutely. I'll share with you some of my mentors, as I was kind of coming back, was Brian Fraser Moore. I met him in 2020 at NAMM.
That is so cool.
And like anytime I had a question, or like I was in a band for a little while, I was touring US, Europe, all that, doing the damn thing. Ran into some issues, called him and said, hey, what do you think I should do in this situation? Gave me the advice and we worked through it together. And I've been very fortunate to have all of these great people just helping guide me and give me the advice and work with me on it. And, if you watch the Sabian video, there's a little section in there where Randy and I are talking about the next generation of drummers. And how it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to put yourself out there, to try to learn from other people. Like, we don't have to, nobody's safeguarding information. Nobody's trying to gatekeep anything. And so, I think that's the whole point of this channel. I'm getting off on a weird tangent here, but the point is
No. I think it's so important, and especially to like have a podcast like this. I would put, I go on YouTube all the time. I would put this on and learn so much. And I do put on like podcasts and love listening to my peers and just other drummers that I don't know and hearing their journey, especially in the pop world. Cause wherever you want to be, whatever you want to learn, it's like all available, which is so cool. Or watching gear breakdowns. Like, I love all of it.
Speaking of gear breakdowns, and then we'll get to Chapel. But you play Ludwig, you play Meinl, Remo.
Play Vader now. But I did play Vic first. Now I play Vader. But yeah, those are like the big four. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Vader artist as well. That just recently happened. So,
yeah. Oh, nice. Chad is awesome.
I imagine in these pop gigs when you're playing with Wheatus or boygenius or now Chapel, a lot of hybrid components to this gig. What are you doing to kind of achieve the combination of acoustic and electronic?
Yes, it's so different from gig to gig, and I never know what it's going to be until I've spoken to the music director. So for Big Wild, that was honestly for Wheatus too, but really Big Wild was the most hybrid gig that I've done. I had the KT10, I had my Roland pad to the right, I had triggers on all the drums that actually were triggering sounds. So that was really cool. That was the first time I dug into that. For Dixie, that was very SPDSX heavy. For Wheatus, it's a very unique gig. They actually use trigger heads on all the drums. So it is a fully acoustic and trigger gig. Like, they're not really using the sounds of the acoustic drums. They're using the sound of the triggers. And they used to do fully electric. But now they use like the Aquarian trigger heads, which is cool. So that's so unique. And then for boygenius, it was barely anything, no triggers. There was a KT10 and an SPD. And then for Chapel, it's actually way less electronic than I anticipated. I do not play the SPDSX at all. I don't have a KT10 either. I just have a kick trigger that has a kick sample for the whole gig, for the whole show, just to like beef it up. And then like gates, on all the drums. That's it. So it's a lot of drums in the track that I am playing against.
To your point, it's really good you got all that other experience though, because I feel like being a hybrid drummer is now like a prerequisite. You have to know how to get every sound you need with whatever tools you have. I think KT10 is like, every drummer should have one. Whether you use it or not, you should just have one.
Totally.
You should have an SPDSX pad just to have it. The Chapel thing, that's really interesting. Being as big of a pop gig as it is, you would think there'd be a little bit more electronics, but I know that obviously her sound is just so, well, one, infectious. The whole world is in love with Chapel Roan. But secondly, that does make sense though. It's kind of a classical sound, the piano, big guitars, big drums. So let's talk about Chapel. I've been foreshadowing it this whole time, but let's talk about it. So you get the gig. I know you just did some shows in Europe, I believe. So how has that been? We won't go into too much detail, but because it's new. But how has that been for you, just being part of that team and playing live on those songs?
So good, and it's the biggest backing band, I guess, apart from like Wheatus, but I guess in the pop world, it's the biggest backing band I have been a part of. So it's a 5-piece backing band, which is sick. 2 guitars, bass, keys, drums. It's really full and amazing. And it's definitely the most high energy show I've been a part of. I was like freaking out during rehearsals when we all got in the room together and I saw the guitarists and the basses, they were all jumping around. I was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. And I'm just at the kit like, yes. So every musician is incredible. Everyone on the team is incredible, from monitors to like tour manager. Everyone is so awesome. And those shows were surreal. And now I'm able to, it's cool. It was like kind of a test almost, even though I think that was our biggest show of the whole run. Now I get the opportunity to listen back and make any changes I want to make, because it's hard to do that on the fly. You kind of got to play it safe and be like, this is what I prepared. This is what I'm going to do. Later, I will be able to analyze and correct anything that I think could be heightened or shouldn't be happening. So that's what I'm doing this week, to be honest.
That's great. And I'll do that too. I'll film just about every performance I do, just to kind of go back. Right, and I was talking to Chris Turner about this, but that's like the benefit of having a home studio or having access to recording equipment, is you can go in and literally like see and hear all the different notes and kind of where maybe you can tighten up or be a little bit better, or whatever it is. And again, it goes back to doing the work, right? Of like, even after you've already done the gig, like I want to learn from myself. I want to know where my gaps are. I know my left hand is weaker than my right hand, so what exercises do I need to do, right, to build that up? Yeah. But I'm so, not to get cheesy here, but I'm just so proud of seeing you up there doing that. It's so cool.
Oh, thanks, man. It's so fun. I'm truly honored.
And you are absolutely deserving of it. You've put in the work, and you sound so good with the band. And I got to see some of the live footage in Europe, and of course. And I just remember being like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like, yeah, just so cool. And it's so fun to watch you, and like I just see you living your dream. It's so cool. Thank you. And I'm there like, get that ghost note, make that kick tight, lean back here. Like, that's all I'm thinking about during the show, because it's so new. Like, eventually obviously the energy is there, but I literally have to be like, don't get too excited, lean back, sound relaxed, because that's what the part is, even though I'm like, yeah, because it is like punk energy, but I have to lean back. It's a lot of the pop gigs you need to push, but this one, it does not require that. And also, I have to focus so much on what's happening in the drum tracks. I cannot just be doing my own thing and be on my own, in my own groove, because there is a set groove that I must follow. Which, one case, nice little safety net. On the other side, it's like, oh God, like, I don't want to fall off of this at all. I need to just be on this to put on the best show I can. Yeah. So I can see why that might be a little, nerve-wracking. No, that does bring me to another question. Also, I'm sorry if you hear things. People have joined the hallway, and there might
there might be some noise, but hopefully not.
You're fine. I've already held you over a little bit, so I won't be too greedy with your time, but...
It's all good. It's all good.
Just a couple more questions, but if there's background noise, we're going to be totally fine.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
But we talked about all the really good stuff that's happened, you know, the awesome gigs you've gotten, the incredible opportunities you've had, all the network. I mean, just, again, so impressed by you. But have there been some situations where you've been either on the road, playing live in the studio, whatever the case is, and something went horribly wrong? And what did you do to kind of like overcome that?
Like playing wise?
Could be playing wise, could be, you know, like I'll give you one quick example. I did this festival gig opening up for Jordan Sparks. It was really cool. It was like, I don't know, 20,000 people. And it was my first time playing with this band. And about halfway through the set, because it was just me and the singer on click, the backing tracks, the guitar player and bass player couldn't hear them. So we all got off, and so I had to, you know, pivot, turn off the click, and like we're just playing this live because we got to get through the song. But that's just kind of an example of like, oh my God, like we got to pivot, we got to fix it, you know. So I think the thing I hear the most often is ears going out, but I'm curious, and if that's the case, we'll talk about it. But I'm curious if there's anything else that you could think of where you're like, oh my God, I need to pivot and figure this thing out immediately.
Like, I'm sure there has been. Nothing's coming to mind. There's got to be some stuff. I mean, like, things have happened to other people on stage that I've witnessed. Like, I was just telling my roommates last night, my first show of the tour with Wheatus on the second run we did together, there was like this noise that was being sent out into the audience, like a blasting digital noise that just we couldn't figure out, and everything's in the box. Obviously, I'm just sitting there like, something I can do, but I'm seeing them just scrambling on stage. They couldn't figure it out. Everything's in the box. There's nothing they could do up front except shut everything down. They just couldn't find where the signal was. So Brendan had to play Teenage Dirtbag with no sound at all. It was insane. No sound, and his guitar is like, it's an acoustic guitar, but it doesn't resonate like an acoustic guitar. So it's quiet. And the audience just sang Teenage Dirtbag. You know, he was like, all right, here we go. And they sang it. It was like a cute moment. And then he figured out what it was. It was like sweat dripping into his pickup. It was something crazy.
It always is.
It always is. I felt so bad for them on stage. I was like, there's nothing I can do here. And I've had like, you know, the classic cymbal falls, or like there is a sound being blasted into my ear that I can't figure out. And I'm like, is that going to front of house? Is it one of the mics on the kit? And then they come up and they're trying to figure it out. And you just gotta live with it. I've like made a change during sound check that we didn't get to try out, and then I have a guitar that's blasting in my ear that I'm like, wah! And I have to like quickly go into my talkback mic and ask them to pull it down. But luckily nothing too like show stopping. I haven't been sick on stage, knock on wood. Like I've been pretty okay.
Yeah, I knocked on wood over here for you too.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. You know, I'll tell you. Just it was making me think of something. One of the first big shows we played in Europe. It was at this festival. You know, again, a couple thousand people out there, and you know how it is when you don't get to play on your own kit. Like you're doing a backline kit, you're setting up really quick. And I remember I still have I'll have to see it and I can send it to you. But after the show, we come off the stage and I show the snare drum and it's just covered in my blood because I had, you know, caught the stick in between my finger and the rim. Blood everywhere. It was all over my pants. It was just the worst. And the show must go on. So I just
totally
kept going.
Oh my God. Yeah, like I wish I had a better story. I'm sure it'll come to me later. Something crazy that's happened on stage. I mean, like the hi-hat pedals falling apart before, that's kind of a tough one to come back from.
Seriously, especially if you step on it, it like becomes 7 inches wide.
Yeah. no good, and then you just have to finish out the rest of the song on the ride or something. But luckily, you've got so many options on the kit that you can adapt. But my tech is like, we need a snare right there on stage, even though, again, knock on wood, I don't think I'm breaking through a head. And we need another kick pedal. Like, there's no way we're doing a show without having those two things on deck.
Yeah.
It's, the classic hitting the snare and the snares are off. That always hurts. And I've done that probably a million times. And I always feel for the drummer when I see them do it on stage too. Or you forget to shut the snare wires and it's like an acoustic moment. Those are the classic ones that always hurt a little bit.
I've been there for sure, especially when you're playing a punk rock gig and you forget to put the snare on. It's like St. Anger live.
Oh, yes. I would love that, honestly.
Yeah. But I'll tell you this. Well, you mentioned your tech. Do you have the same tech for every opportunity you have? Okay, so it's always a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the relationship is the same. Like, this person is my best friend. We are locked up.
I make them my best friend.
That's awesome. Do you have a new tech for this Chapel gig right now?
Yes, and funny enough, she's also teching on the Lucy Dacus gig, which is cool. So it's like similar crews. But yeah, she's awesome. I'm so excited to like really dive in and do the whole tour with her and like try different things out. It'll be fun.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I'm still at that point where I'm teching myself. And
I do too. This is like only the third gig I've had where I've had a tech. It's not usually the case.
I can imagine how just awesome that is, though, having like a partner in crime. Most of the time,
nice.
Right, everybody else in the band's like, get your own shit,
Yeah.
Just but hurry up.
Yeah.
Which is why I never bring the big drums anywhere I go. I only ever take the small set.
Too heavy. I just say I can't even carry drums in LA. I'm like, we'll rent. That's what the endorsement's for. They hook it up. It'll be worth it.
I've already held you over a little bit after. So what I'm going to do is go through like 3 more questions.
Yeah, there's no rush, I promise.
Okay, cool.
No rush.
I'm having a really good time. But what I always close up with, though, and we'll get to it right at the end, is like a speed round of questions.
Okay.
But we'll get to that in a minute. So the reason I'm saying that is sometimes they're really weird, so just prepare yourself. But it's always first thing that comes to your mind. But we'll get there, so we're foreshadowing. The next question that I have for you is, we talked about all these incredible opportunities you've had. I mean, just seriously, so impressive and so awesome to see. Where do you see yourself going from here, like 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Like, what is your kind of vision for your future as you continue to grow?
I honestly need to take time to figure that out, really. But of course, like the biggest goal is obviously to just keep doing what I'm doing at higher levels every year. I love jumping from gig to gig. Like, that is a cool thing. I don't have to just be on one gig. I love going from thing to thing and continuing to work with the people I work with, but having recording recording more on my time off and getting into the studios would be the next dream. Just like continuing to tour and building a good schedule, hopefully being on retainer with somebody, that would be really nice. To just keep amplifying what I'm already doing to build out this studio more and have it be like a really trusty home studio that I can promote and feel good about, like having people send me tracks. I'm already doing it, but I just want it to be even better. Just working with more musicians and recording and touring, continuing.
That's great. I'll tell you, that was one of my first goals. So when I bought this house, I was like, I need a room for drums, one for YouTube, obviously, because that's what I've been doing, but then 2 for session work. Like, I want to know I can track a whole album in here if I have to.
I love it. Yeah.
And luckily we're there. We can do it. I've done a very little bit in here. I'm trying to do more of that as well. I mean, I know you've done some session work as well. I've heard some of the stuff that you've done, which again, you're an insanely talented composer, not just performer.
Thanks. I really do try.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, before we hit record, how I found you was your take on Instagram of other songs. And what made me go, okay, this is my favorite drummer, was I mentioned this, a really old video, but the performance that you did of Boyfriend by Charlie Puth, or Girlfriend, not Boyfriend, Jesus. And
I don't even know what he has a song called Girlfriend, I guess, and Boy. Something like that. Yeah.
Exactly. That's how I got it mixed. But when I heard you play Girlfriend, I remember just being like, I immediately am inspired to go learn how she did that and play it the same way.
And that's how I felt when I was going to play that song, is I saw someone else do something, and I was like, oh, now I want to do my own thing.
Yeah, exactly. And so what I think is just awesome is how you go about composing your parts, because they just do feel so good. Like, again, regardless of, obviously they sound good, that's part of the deal, but they also just, at least as a drummer, they just feel so good. You know, what's your process for composing those parts, and like how do you kind of get to the place where like this feels like the right thing to put on top of this section of music?
Oh my God, I'm still figuring it out, and I've been telling myself, like, maybe I should like make a YouTube video so that I can actually practice vocalizing what I am doing internally and how I'm arriving here. But it's a lot of like instinct based playing. Like, I just listen to it and I see what comes out first. Like, I just throw up whatever I can on the kit, whatever falls under my hands. It's a lot of listening to others and imagining what they would do. Like, I've been starting my sessions. I've been kind of obsessed with Calvin Rogers the past week. So I'm listening to him and I'm like, how would he approach a gig? Does Brian Fraser Moore play for Blackpink? Who plays for Blackpink?
Benny Rogers.
Benny Rogers. I get them confused. I've been watching a lot of his stuff. I just try to imagine what other drummers would do, what sounds good, what I should try to catch, what vocal part sticks out to me that would sound nice to have a drum part added, like stuff that you can imagine in your head being done on a live stage, and then trying to regurgitate that. And the beauty of recording is you do get the opportunity to give it a shot and listen back, and I'll sit here and be like, oh, no, like that wasn't it. And then I'll find something, I'll literally sit here and be like, it just happens. And I'm like, oh, I'm nodding. I like that. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to try to remember that. And it's literally just puzzle piecing things together. And obviously it was like so much time spent working on stickings. Yeah. I owe a lot to my teacher, James Murphy at Berklee, who has something called the glue method. Just working on different stickings, different subdivisions, different groupings, tempos. It was so cool. It just helped me learn how to chop a bit. And now, it's just like putting a puzzle together, putting together different sentences that I think will work. And I am still working on it. Currently, I'm taking the Chapel stuff and I'm like, okay, I did that before, but like, what would be even better? And it takes time. And also, I have to remember to put it away. I'll sit here for like hours and agonize and be like, I suck. Bottom line, I just suck. Or I'll try to do a cover and I just cannot get it. Or I'll get it and then I'll try and make it better and it'll fall apart. I have to go to bed and come back the next day and I'll start at a better place than I ended. Like, I've had to remind myself that. Like, a lot happens in your sleep that I don't even realize, and I come back and I just sit in it deeper and I come up with something new. So that helps me out, remembering to put it away.
I love that, because I think that's where the grace comes in too, of like, we all have those moments where we look at ourselves and we're like, God, I'm the worst drummer in the world.
Yeah.
Like, and it'll be funny, I'll like, record a cover or whatever, and I'll be out, in the living room editing it, and I'll hear like a fill I did, and I'm like, that was me? Damn, like that was really good. Yeah. Or the opposite, I'll hear a beat and I'm like a little off on the snare, or like, just a little off on whatever, and I'm like, I have to redo because I'm not the kind of person who's going to go in and like move a snare drum or like, like clean it. I'm going to just go back and redo it.
Yeah.
And so I heard that, I'll hear like one thing and nobody else could hear it. A drummer can, but nobody else can hear it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I need to go back in there and redo it. Because
100%.
when I first started the YouTube stuff, and then this is going to bring a question around, but when I first started the YouTube stuff, I didn't really care that much about the quality, because I was like, I'm just here to have fun, and I wasn't thinking of it as like a resume. I was like, just put stuff out and have fun, because I was just so happy to be back playing drums.
Yeah.
But now, especially as the channel has gotten up, we're closing on 25,000 subscribers, I'm like, that's a lot of people potentially that could lead to something. So I think of it differently now. I think of it as like,
me too.
It doesn't have to be perfect, because I will sit there and I will analyze every single thing. If I'm doing a session work, then yes. Like if I'm recording for somebody, absolutely. But YouTube, I'm like, this is for fun.
But you know what? Sometimes session work is even easier because you can comp. And I love that process. And I'm like, if only I could do that for a video or for a live show, but that's the point. You need to come up with it. You can't. There's no editing.
Yeah, and I love what you said too about like whatever just I throw up or whatever comes out underneath my hands, because that's my approach every time. I will learn the song.
Yeah.
The first half I just play the song. It's not exactly, but as close to the album as I feel like I want to be. And the second half I just go crazy. I stay within the spirit of the song, but I start throwing in crazy stuff. I mean, you saw, I think in the boygenius one I did towards the end, I did like a stupid fill, because I'm like, I just want to have fun with this. But the fact of the matter is, like, sometimes it just feels good to just be like, this is exactly how I'm feeling about this song in this moment at this time, even if it's not the right part. Like, it's just nice to get it out.
Yes, I know. I tend to not start there, but maybe I should. Like, no, I do start there, but I feel like I lack the energy in the beginning, and sometimes I have to be like, all right, let's try it again and actually bring energy to this, and then new things come out. Whereas in the beginning, I'm like, what sticking is going to happen here, but not really the energy that I want to bring. So
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
I definitely do it the reverse, only because, one, when I'm learning it, like, nobody's watching, so I'm like, screw it, let's have fun.
Yeah.
But then I'll do it just to kind of be like, okay, well, what feels right in the moment?
Yeah.
Like, what idea feels right? Maybe not the actual beat, but what feels right. And then I'll be, okay, now let's take that concept, and then I pull back and say, how do I refine it? What's the sticky symbols am I going to use?
Exactly.
And it's not always perfect, but again, sometimes it's just like this. And so now whenever I hear a song that I've covered, I hear my version of it most of the time, even though the radio, has its own thing. Yeah. And sometimes I joke, but I always say this, whenever I get a comment, or most of the time it's from my daughter, let's be real, but whenever I get a comment that says, hey, you made the song better, that's when I'm like, that's the best compliment you can give any drummer.
Totally. Or like, yeah, you're making it bounce a little bit more. Yeah, that's the best. That's what's so cool about pop drumming, is acoustic drums usually don't exist in that sphere. Not all the time, of course, but on like the real pop stuff, like the Blackpink stuff, adding a drum part on top of it and adding guitar, it's like it just brings the song to a whole new level, which is so fun to mess with. There's just no rules.
But I agree with you 100%. The Lady Gaga thing I told you about before, that video got all those listens or whatever just because it was a different interpretation of the same spirit of the song.
So cool.
It didn't take anything away, and I think that's the key, is like, if I'm playing something that contradicts, and I always, the analogy I always use is like, we are there to build the bridge between the artist and the audience.
Totally.
And if we sever that bridge, we should be fired. Like, we haven't done our part, right?
Yeah.
And so the way I think about it is like, you capture that by honoring the spirit, honoring what the artist was trying to put out there. You can do some fun stuff and throw your silly stuff on there, but as long as that's being honored and captured and the audience doesn't get disconnected, like,
oh yeah,
you've done your thing.
Totally.
But anyway, so you made me think of something. God, I feel so bad. I'm just like taking all of your time, but
all I do, literally, I just come here, I drum, go home, make a meal, come back, drum, go to the gym. I'm not doing much. It's all good.
Okay, then but what I will say is, you made me think of something I hadn't thought of before, which is, because you are a very positive person. I mean, like, you've been smiling this whole time. You're like, I'm not smiling anymore, I'm done. But no, in a good way. And like, you are passionate, you love what you do, it's very clear, like, you are. But I think all of us have been there, where we're like, is this even the right thing for me? Am I wasting my time? what am I doing with my life? We've all been there when we're chasing our dreams, because you can't always beat the self-doubt, and then even when you can, sometimes it's just hard to get over it. So you talked about, obviously getting rest, coming back to it the next day, but what are some other things that you've done to kind of help bring yourself back on track and back to pushing yourself towards your dream?
I think, just like staying inspired and latching on to whatever thing is currently inspiring you. And Instagram is so helpful for that, because you'll just be doom scrolling and then someone will post something and you're like, oh my God, I want to do that too. Or I will be enjoying a song. I'll be like walking around on tour enjoying a song that was just released, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to go home and try to drum to that. And right now I'm inspired by having time to work on this set and see what else I can come up with. So yeah, just latching on to different things. There's so much that's online, like so many videos that are released. I've been watching a lot from the Minel series recently, of course. So many drummers that I haven't heard of is what keeps me coming back to the kit. Obviously, there's other aspects like financial and business that can be hard and can drain your motivation, but this is like the best job because it is creative by nature. And you can always push yourself to be better, and you can always showcase what you're doing and connect with others. So there's a lot of things that can keep me excited, which is cool.
That is cool. And I agree with you. Like, if you're open to it and if you're open to the perspective, and like you said, I mean, gosh, halfway through this, being open to those different styles of music, the different artists, just saying, hey, having an appreciation for all of it. Like, there is an endless fountain of inspiration out there. And it's funny, I mentioned the Yamaha event at the Music City Drum Show where I drank too much, but the more important part of that story is, at this, it was called A Night in the Pocket, I think, and
love it.
It was like 14, I think, or 15 Yamaha drummers. Each of them got 2 songs they could pick to play with like a Nashville band from the 90s. And we were all there for about 3 or 4 hours, and you had like David Garibaldi and Paul Bostoff, and I mean, like, just I'll send you the flyer after because it's just I can't remember them all. Yeah. But I remember sitting there and like it's good when you're watching these guys and you're like, I want to go up there so bad and play. Like, I want to just be part of this so bad. Yeah. And and nothing they were playing was crazy chops or shedding, or it was just so good, just groovy in the pocket. I think they played like 4 Nirvana songs and like
I was gonna ask what they played.
Yeah, they played the Cranberries, Green Day, Blink-182. I mean, like all kinds, just all of the good. Wow. I mean, then there was like some hip hop and R&B. I mean, just so much fun.
So cool.
Yeah, you can see why I drank too much, because it was just everyone's having a good time. You're like, this is sick. Yeah, but it made you just want to, and then they come off the stage and you hug them and everybody gets to hang out, and it was just one of those drummer moments where like everybody's just there.
That sounds so fun.
Oh my gosh, it was the best. Next year, if you're not on tour, Music City Drum Show, you should go.
I would love to.
Yeah, when it starts to come around again, I'll shoot you the stuff, because
please.
Like I said, I didn't even know it was a thing until Mike was like, hey, are you coming? And I'm like, now I am. Like, you invited me, I will be there.
I've literally been to NAMM one time, and that's it. That's all I've done, which is not good. When did you go to NAMM? I went this year.
Oh, I was there this year. I didn't get to see you. Yeah, I was only there for a day. I was only there for a day, though. Oh,
Same.
Really?
And I was totally overwhelmed. It was, but it was cool.
We're going to go into, well, actually, before we go into speed round, what is coming up next for you? So, you talked about you're working on the set list right now, which to me implies some more Chapel gigs are coming.
A few more, yes.
I'll let you kind of dictate what you want to share, but what's next for Madden, and how can we make sure everybody that's watching this can stay up to date on everything that's going on with you?
Yeah, well, the next thing is we leave with the Chapel tour. It continues in Europe, and we're doing a month of shows in Europe. It's all festivals. It's going to be so much fun. Like, we're going to actually get into a groove which is cool because our first 2 shows were a week apart. So we did all this prep, played a show. It was incredible. And then we had a week off. We were like, vacation. At least me, I was like, I want to play. I'm like so excited. I don't want to take a week off, but I did enjoy the downtime. So yeah, that's the next thing. And then I'll be back in LA and just hanging out.
You may not know this, and you may not be able to answer this. So if you can't, I will. Even if you want me to cut it out, I can. But
Okay.
Boy Genius, or when they eventually go back out again, if they do, is that something that you'll be supporting them on?
I got no idea. I have no idea. They're on their solo journeys now, which I will be very excited to see. I mean, I saw Lucy's show this year. It was amazing. I saw Julian's show last year. It was amazing. So they're all doing their thing now.
Yeah, when's the next time we can see you live in the States?
Oh, yeah. It's been a European summer. It's been all abroad, which is fun.
Which is a good summer. Yeah, it's a good summer.
I hope soon. It'd be fun to play a hometown show.
Yeah, I got to come watch you play live. I mean, I've been
That'd be
I've been a
awesome.
fan of yours for half a decade. And I haven't seen you play live. I'm like, I need to go see you play live.
We did play in Phoenix with Boy Genius.
Don't tell me that, because now it's easier for me to just believe that you guys didn't stop here. To be like, oh, you know what, they didn't come to Arizona.
It was quick. It was only one show, you know. We got in, we got out. I forget the name. It's some name that has nothing to do with the venue, but it was the big theater. New. I think it's pretty new. Financial something? I don't know.
Yeah, probably Arizona Desert Financial or something like that.
Yes. And we got the Cornish pasties for our post-show meal, which I was excited about. That is so random. I've had that place a couple times passing through Phoenix. It's so random.
It's so good, though.
It's really good.
I go to that place. I mean, I'll tell you this right now. That place, depending on what you went to, because there's a couple out here, but it's 15 minutes from where I live. So it's the one in Phoenix. So it's you know, I go down there all the time. And then there's they change the name all the time, but it's called the Phoenix Arena now. I can see that from my house. So you know, every time there's a show going on, I go down there and.
That's not a bad name. That's better than the crypto.com arena.
Yeah, that is
way
better than that.
Way better.
And then next time I'm in LA, I'll make sure to hit you up too, because I
Yeah,
think it'd be cool to meet you in person.
Yeah, it'd
Maybe
be
even
fun.
do a part 2 of this in person.
Oh, yeah.
I've only done one of these podcasts in person, and it was with, I'm sure you know him because every drummer should, but Matt Horn, YouTube's drum tech. He does all those POV drum tech videos. Have you seen those?
I'm sure I have seen him, but the name doesn't sound familiar.
That's okay.
I'll look him up after, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I've seen every one of these videos. So.
But we're now in the speed round, because I swear I will sit here and talk to you for hours. So I need to be mindful. But speed round. Again, first thing comes to your mind. You can think about it a little bit, and you can also change your answer if you want to. It just doesn't have to be even true. Just the first thing that comes to your mind.
I change what I order as I'm ordering it, so that'll probably happen.
That's okay. So what's your order? I'm just kidding. So one piece of gear that you cannot live without. What is the first thing that comes to mind?
I'm going to say a ride cymbal. Oh my God, this is horrible because I really like to take time to answer questions. One piece of gear, and I chose a ride cymbal? Oh my God. How does one even... Because I'm like, I'd want to record. What if it's an interface? Oh my God. I don't know. Maybe like a MacBook? I guess I could play finger drums and I could produce. Is that count, or is that going outside of the lines?
It's whatever you want. Here's the good thing about this. There's no right answer.
That is insane to think about. I don't know.
I'm going to show you mine really quick.
Okay.
Hold on. And this is going to be silly, but just check it out.
Okay, that's a very good choice.
So this snare drum was made for my mom.
What?
By SJC.
Oh my God. That is so sweet. Well, that is way better than my answer. Oh my God. It's very hard to choose, but I mean, a snare would be, that's a really good, I mean, yeah, a snare drum is a better answer. I started on a snare. I would spend so much time reading solos, working on, marching chops, rudiments, anything. So that's a great answer.
I'll just say this. If I didn't have the snare drum, I wouldn't know the answer either. So
It's hard.
I'd be like, a whole drum set?
Yeah,
That's the piece
like
of gear
what
that
counts? I could do a lot with a computer, so.
Okay, so here's
That's
maybe a
tough.
weird one. But when you're touring, it's not always easy to get meals. Sometimes in the arenas they feed you, but
Yeah.
in other cases it's hard. What is the best meal, and you can change your answer, what's the best meal you could think of that you've had anywhere that you've toured in the world?
Okay, the best meal. I thought you were going to be like, what is your go-to? And I was going to say Chipotle, Trusty,
Which I'm like, that could work too.
and you know what? That might be one of the best meals. I love it. But no, it's not going to be the best. Oh, the
I eat
best
Chipotle
meal
every
I've
day,
had.
so.
Do you really?
No.
I would if I could.
I either go there or I make my own version at home. But I
Okay.
have some version of that every day.
I'm going to put everybody onto this really quick. I talk about it all the time. It might not work for everyone. The Chipotle kids meal. I'm serious. It's $6.53, depending on the tax in your state. And you get 2 tacos. You get 5 sides, fruit, and a drink for $6.53. So it's a good lunch. Doesn't make you feel bad. It's cheap. It's delicious. Whatever. So that I go for that a lot. But the best meal I've had on tour. I truly wish. My God, the best meal I've had on tour. I mean, I really, really love sushi, and we went to this place. It's a chain. It's called Uchi. I went with the boygenius crew in Houston, and that was pretty unbelievable. And I had it again in LA. It's like the best meal I've ever had in my life. It's so good. I also love Kazunori, which is a chain. They have it in New York and LA, so I'll go there on tour. Dishoom in London is incredible. We just ate so much good food in Barcelona, so much good wine and tapas. So, it's so hard to choose. But usually on the American tours, I try not to eat out that much and like save money where I can, but it doesn't always happen that way.
Yeah, the reason I asked the question is because you were just in Europe, and
Yeah.
I feel like Europe just in general takes care of musicians really well when it comes to
Yeah.
food. There's always food ready wherever you play. And I'm from Europe originally, so I was born in Germany, and then I moved to Arizona in 1997. So I've been here most of my life, but whenever I go home to Germany, I'm just like, yes,
Wow.
give me the food.
Where in Germany were you born?
I was born in Munich, so right in maybe an hour from Salzburg, Austria.
Cool. Okay, I've never been. I want to go soon though. But yeah, I'm sure I'm going to be, spending a lot of money and eating delicious food on this next European run. So I'm eating at home now, or I'm getting a Chipotle kids meal. I'm saving it. I'm saving my money.
And you're saving all of the little tangerines that come with it so you can bring them with you.
Exactly, yes. No. I eat them. It's like dessert in the moment.
Yeah, and that's better because I eat until I hurt. So I think that's a better choice.
Especially, yes, same. So I have to actually limit myself to just that small portion.
Okay, I like that. So, weird question. You might not be able to answer this, so we'll say top 3. But what are your top 3 favorite venues that you've ever played at?
I mean, I have to say Madison Square Garden. It was incredible. And I've been lucky to play there like 6 times, which is insane. Like mostly on opening shows, only one headline. So I really soaked up that full set. I love Great American Music Hall in San Francisco. I played that on my first tour with Mike Doty and Wheatus. It's a beautiful venue, and I just, love a theater. It was just very decadent. It was awesome. And top 3. I mean, I want to say Red Rocks, of course. Red Rocks was... You can't not say MSG, and you can't not say Red Rocks. I'm trying to think if there are any other standout. House of Blues in Boston is always amazing. Yeah. I would have to spend time going through the whole thing. But yeah, those are the standout ones.
Yeah, I remember seeing the MSG stuff when you guys played, and I was like, it was another moment of me being like, yes, I'm so excited for you, because I know you're from New York, and it's like,
yeah,
you know, just like what a life, again, full circle moment.
Yeah.
So you've played with some incredible artists, but who is the either one artist or band that comes to mind, dead or alive, that you were just like, if I had the opportunity, I would play with them in 2 seconds?
Paramore.
I'm going to tag them in this just so they can hear you say that.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be the one. That's a strong one. Maybe Muse as well. Those drum parts really influenced me. That'd be so fun.
Yeah, I could see you doing both those gigs. Like, that would be so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
God, yeah, those are good answers. I think mine will always be Slipknot, just because I grew up with Slipknot, you know, and I don't know if I can play that anymore, but, you know, when I was younger, it was like all I ever played.
You would get it. You would work towards it.
Yeah.
You get it.
But nowadays, it's like, you know, gosh, I'm trying to think, like Lady Gaga would be like, or Foo Fighters. You know, Foo Fighters would... Yeah, I'm not going to lie, I reached out to Foo Fighters when they announced
oh my God.
Josh was moving on. But, you know, we all...
Shooting your shots.
You got to do it. You got to have the courage. Even if you never hear back, at least you tried.
Right.
Madden, are you a dog or a cat person?
I'm a cat person. I mean, I love dogs and cats, but I am really a cat person.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a dog guy for sure. If you can't tell, I get the golden retriever analogy often.
So good. It's the best compliment, really.
Because I'm always like, yeah, you know, my old boss at one of my first jobs used to say I looked like I was at Disneyland every day, because I'm like, you know, smiling and like looking around.
Yeah.
But it's the way to live. But I also love all animals though. Like to me, I'm like, I'm just an animal guy. And if I could have all of the animals, I would. But I live in Arizona. Not really going to happen.
I know. I really wish I could have a cat in LA right now, but I'm just gone too much. It just doesn't work. Yeah. And my roommates as well, they also are gone all the time, so we can't like have a cat in the house or a dog. It would be amazing. Yeah. It brings me so much joy.
Me too. Trust me. It's my dog is my little baby boo-boo. It's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
But he's a big boy. He's 90 pounds. He's a big
really?
Fluffer. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
And so he's cute. Truly blonde. He's a blonde dog, and his name is Thor.
Is he a golden retriever?
That he has some of that in him.
Okay.
But when I bought him, I'll just tell you the story really quick. Well, when I bought him, they were like, hey, he's a golden retriever and a Labrador retriever mix. And I'm like, perfect. So I bought him. And then I got, did the whole like DNA test thing, just because my their wellness plan came with it. And they're like, no, he's not. He's a Chow and a Shar-Pei and a Boxer and like all these. And you look at him, you can tell he's all fluffy and he's got a curly tail and he's the cute. I'll send you a picture just because.
Yeah, please.
You have to see him because words don't do him justice. He's honestly adorable. I'm sitting here talking. We're going to interview him next.
Yes, please. If you come to LA, bring him with you. Just drive up.
Okay, we got 2 more speedrun questions, and then I promise, because now we're like an hour over, and then I promise I'll leave. I'll let you go.
Again, I'm just chilling. It's fun.
Good. I'm happy. That's all I ever want is for it to be fun. If you were to pick your favorite, and it could be anything, it could be rudiment, it could be groove, any pattern that you're like, this is my favorite pattern, I use this in everything, maybe I even overuse it. I know there's a few I overuse. What's that pattern that comes to mind for you?
Inverted 6-stroke roll. I remember learning that, like, I wouldn't say I do it a lot now because I do a lot more like linear stuff. Or maybe flam accent. But the inverted 6-stroke roll, I remember learning that when I was young, probably at School of Rock, and I was like, this is cool. This is like, doesn't just sound like a rudiment. It has like a shape to it. And you can start on the rack and do the roll on the snare and then end on the floor tom. Like you could do it with the cymbals, you could do it on the hi-hat, just like a little thing. It just sounds tasty every time.
Tasty is the right word, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there'll be times where I'll hear something, I'm like, that's gross, but in a good way. I'm like, oh, that's gross, you know? Or that, oh, that's tasty. Like, oh, that can, you know, it feels good.
That's disgusting and delicious.
Yes. For me, I have to agree. And then also, paradiddle diddle has come back for me a little bit.
Yeah.
I did a thing for RTOM a long time ago where I like taught how to do a paradiddle diddle. And then I got really good at it because I was practicing it for the video, and now I just use it all the time.
Yeah. Isn't that the best? When you just practice it all the time and then it comes out naturally?
Yeah, and then I do a lot of doubles over doubles. So I do a lot of that too.
Doubles over doubles?
Yeah, so I'll do like, you know, like the 2 on the hand, 2 on the feet, 2 on the hand, 2 on the feet. Kind of double bass. You know, I call it doubles over doubles. I don't know what it's actually called, but
that sounds like something you'd order at In-N-Out.
Which I do.
I'll get a doubles over doubles.
Yeah, which is just 4 patties.
Yeah, and 2 4 buns.
Yes.
Doubles over doubles.
That's exactly how it should be.
Yeah.
Okay, last question, I promise. And then I will send you all the stuff I promised I'd send you.
Cool.
But here's what I'll say. Last question, if you were to look at your whole career, the last, well, let's call it 5 years, just because that's how long I've known you. If you were to look at the last 5 years of your career, all the ups, all the downs, all the incredible opportunities, and you had to boil it down to one word, what's the first word that comes to mind?
Oh my God, I'm taking this really seriously. This is important. It's an important moment. One word. Probably ridiculous.
That might be my favorite answer. You know, sometimes you get like, you know, grateful or humble or like, you know, those, which I know that you feel those things. That's not.
I was like grateful. That's boring. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That kind of encompasses all of my emotions.
Yes.
I wanted to be like fate, but
No. Ridiculous was the best because it's like it has just been that. Like, oh my God, all these opportunities, all the stuff I've been able to do, like it's ridiculous.
The people I've gotten to play with.
Yeah.
Every moment of it I just love. And it can be pretty ridiculous, you know, in the van and at the restaurants and just ridiculous things happen, but it's also just ridiculously amazing.
If I were to tell Kyle from 2020, who just kind of came back to doing this, that I'd be sitting here on the phone with you. And again, I don't have a lot of these like fan moments because I try to just look at all, you know, other drummers as other drummers and friends and coworkers and all that stuff. But I am a true fan of yours and like, not just of your playing and who you are as a musician, but just like I am rooting for you in every corner of every room just because I think that you're so exceptionally talented. And like, you know, it starts with your feel and your approach to the instrument. But then the more I've kind of gotten to know you, I guess, virtually, and then now on a call, it's like, God, you're just a great individual as well. And I want you to just, of course, and I want you to achieve all of the success that you deserve. And
thank you. Same to you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I'll say this to kind of close us all up. This has been truly a blast for me. Like, I'm honored,
Same.
I'm excited. I feel like somebody who I've looked up to and really been inspired by, I'm now friends with.
Yes.
Hopefully I'm not overstepping with that.
No, not at all.
And I just really enjoyed the time and you going over and being so gracious with your time. And I think I learned a lot. I think the people who listen to this are going to learn a lot. But more importantly, they're just going to hear two people have a really good time.
Yeah.
Which I think is what this channel is all about,
I love doing these because it's just a hang.
Exactly. So I'll say this. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
As this goes up, of course, I'll have it go. It'll go on YouTube. It'll go on Spotify as well.
Cool.
And then I blast it out everywhere. I may or may not take a couple clips from your Instagram if you're okay with that and kind of pepper them in.
Oh, yeah.
I try to ask first because I don't want to like steal anybody's stuff. That's not cool. But Madden, seriously, thank you so much. You are.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you are setting the bar for the modern drummer. And again, I'll continue to be your biggest cheerleader. So just thank you for the time.
Thank you so much. It's been amazing. This has been awesome.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So I may hold you after for just 2 seconds after I stop recording, but just want to say thank you once again, and I can't wait to do a part 2 at some point in the future.
Yes, absolutely. With your dog.
Yes, we'll bring him.
In the room. Sure. Yeah.
That's right. All right. Thank you, Madden.
Thanks.